No, I actually like Caitlin, and I'm just being real and truthful. She has brought millions. I wouldn't be surprised if it's billions of eyes onto the W and onto women's sports.
Stop scrolling, because Sophie Cunningham has never been the type to hold back, but her latest revelation about Caitlin Clark is sending shockwaves through the entire WNBA. And here's something you can't ignore. Caitlin could already be playing somewhere else by now if she weren't in this league. Forget all the rumors about quitting or heading overseas. Sophie just delivered an unfiltered truth that cuts deeper than any injury update ever could. What she revealed shines a light on the relentless pressure, impossible expectations, and harsh reality facing the league's brightest star. This isn't about hype anymore, it's about survival. So sit back, because what Sophie just exposed changes everything. In a league where staying quiet often gets rewarded and speaking honestly comes with a price, Sophie Cunningham has chosen the harder road. While most players stick to polished answers and carefully managed PR statements, she's built a reputation as one of the most brutally honest voices in the WNBA. And that honesty has cost her. Literally. In 2024 alone, she's been fined thousands of dollars for saying publicly what many players only whisper behind closed doors. It started with a TikTok post calling out questionable officiating, a single comment that cost her $500. Then came a podcast appearance where she exposed inconsistent calls, leading to another $1,500 fine. Will the WNBA fine me for? No, you got fined for episode 1. They fined me $1,500. I was like, what? This is just the beginning? You're kidding. And when she pushed even further, accusing the league of favoritism, the penalty wasn't even disclosed. They just fined her again and moved on, sending a clear message. Stay quiet and play. But Sophie isn't playing by those rules. She keeps speaking out, and that's exactly what makes her so dangerous to the system. Think about it. WNBA salaries range roughly between $64,000 and $242,000 a year. For many players, a $1,500 fine isn't small. It's like losing rent money or a chunk of their off-season income. That kind of financial pressure would silence most people instantly. But not Sophie. She keeps stepping forward, taking the hits, and giving fans a raw look at what's really happening behind the scenes. At this point, she's more than just a player reacting to tough games. She's become the league's unofficial whistleblower. Someone willing to risk fines, criticism, and even her career just to speak the truth. And that's exactly why her voice matters. When Sophie talks, fans don't hear noise, they hear reality from someone living it. That's what makes everything she says about Caitlin Clark hit differently. She's not chasing headlines or stirring drama, she's revealing uncomfortable truths the league would rather keep hidden. And that's why her voice can't be ignored. So what was she really saying? Was she hinting at hidden pressure? Was she accusing the league of holding Caitlin back? Don't look away, because the answer changes everything. For weeks now, the biggest question hanging over the WNBA has been simple. When is Caitlin Clark coming back? Reporters have pressed coaches, teammates and officials, all hoping for a clear timeline. Fans refresh updates daily, searching for answers. But instead of clarity, they've been given vague responses. Day by day, we'll see next week. No update at this time. That silence only made things worse. And then Sophie Cunningham broke it, completely. On her podcast, without build-up or drama, she dropped one line that shook everything. She could be playing if it wasn't in the WNBA. Those words didn't come from a random fan or outside observer. They came from someone inside the league, someone who understands exactly what it takes to survive at this level. For Caitlin Clark's massive fanbase, that statement wasn't just surprising, it was alarming. Because what Sophie was really saying goes far beyond injury recovery. This isn't about Caitlin simply needing more time, it's about the environment she's trying to return to. Sophie made it clear, Caitlin's absence isn't about weakness. It's about the brutal reality of the WNBA itself. At University of Iowa, Caitlin dominated. She was the face of college basketball, breaking records, selling out arenas, and pulling in historic TV numbers. But in the WNBA, that dominance doesn't automatically carry over. Here, being good isn't enough, you have to be perfect. And if you're not fully ready, physically, mentally, competitively, The league will expose you instantly. That's the real bombshell. Sophie wasn't questioning Caitlin's talent. She was exposing a truth many didn't want to admit. The WNBA has reached a level where even a generational star like Caitlin Clark needs time just to adjust. This isn't about heart, it's about survival. By saying Caitlin could already be playing elsewhere, Sophie highlighted just how demanding this league has become. Overseas or back in college, Caitlin might already be lighting up the court again. But here, the expectations are so intense that rushing back could risk everything. Not just her season, but her career. That's why Sophie's words hit so hard. She wasn't just updating fans, she was raising a warning. And that warning leads to an even bigger question. If the WNBA is this unforgiving for a player like Caitlin Clark, what does that mean for everyone else? Because when Sophie said Caitlin could already be playing outside this league, she wasn't exaggerating. She was pointing to a reality most fans only partially see. The WNBA isn't just a step up from college, it's an entirely different world. At Iowa, Caitlin was unstoppable. In the WNBA, every defender is faster, stronger, and more physical. Every player earned their spot through years of elite competition. There are no easy matchups, no weak links, just constant pressure from every angle. Sophie described it bluntly, this isn't just basketball anymore. At times, it feels closer to rugby. The physical contact is constant, the hits are harder, and toughness isn't optional, it's required. Referees allow more contact than most fans realize, creating an environment where every possession becomes a battle. Now imagine returning to that level after an injury. In most leagues, stars are eased back carefully. But in the WNBA, there's no cushion. One mistake, one hesitation, and the physicality can end your comeback instantly. That's the brutal standard Sophie was exposing. And here's the key point. Sophie wasn't calling Caitlin soft. In fact, she made it clear that Caitlin's toughness isn't in question at all. What she highlighted is how extreme the league has become. The competition is deeper than ever, from starters to bench players. Every possession is intense. Every weakness gets targeted. So when Sophie said Caitlin's absence isn't just about injury, she was pointing directly at this reality. Caitlin isn't sitting out because she lacks determination. She's sitting out because anything less than 100% in this league can be dangerous. That's what makes this situation bigger than just one player. Caitlin's struggle reflects how much the league has evolved, and how unforgiving it's become. But Sophie didn't stop there. She also turned her attention to something even more controversial: fairness. According to her, the issue isn't just how tough the league is, it's that not everyone is treated the same. She described what she believes is a two-tier system, where some players receive protection, while others are left exposed to constant physical play. One moment stood out: a heated game where a player drove into Caitlin Clark and struck her in the face. It wasn't subtle. It was dangerous. Yet officials reduced it to a flagrant one. Soon after, another player shoved Caitlin to the floor. No basketball play, just pure contact. And still, no serious consequences. When officials defended those decisions, the message felt clear: Caitlin was on her own. And for Sophie, that confirmed everything she had been warning about. That frustration eventually boiled over. After watching Caitlin take repeated hits, Sophie made her own statement on the court, dragging an opposing player down in what was clearly a deliberate act. It wasn't about the play, it was about sending a message. If officials weren't going to protect their star, someone else would. And after the game, Sophie didn't deny it. She admitted it was payback, a response to years of ignored physicality and silence from the league. But what might be even more shocking than the physicality is the silence surrounding Caitlin's injury. Despite all the attention, Sophie revealed something that stunned fans. Nobody really knows what's going on, not fans, not reporters, and not even players. She admitted openly, "I'm not holding anything back, I just don't know." Think about that. In leagues like the NBA or NFL, injury updates are detailed and consistent. But here, it's silence. And that silence has created a storm of speculation. Fans are questioning everything, whether Caitlin's injuries are tied to how she's treated on the court, whether the league is hiding details, or whether something bigger is going on behind the scenes. Some even point out that overseas leagues offer better conditions, better recovery systems, and more transparency. And while no one is saying Caitlin will leave, the fact that people are even asking that question is a warning sign. Because at the heart of all this isn't just injury, it's trust. Every time Sophie speaks, she adds credibility to those concerns. She's confirmed the physical demands, questioned the fairness, and admitted the lack of information. This isn't just speculation anymore, it's becoming a real issue for the league. And if fans lose trust, the consequences go far beyond ratings or headlines. And that brings everything back to Sophie Cunningham. At the center of this storm isn't just Caitlin Clark's situation, it's Sophie's decision to speak out. In a league where silence is safer, she chose risk. Every fine was meant to quiet her, but it didn't. She kept going, again and again, refusing to back down. And whether people agree with her or not, one thing is certain, her voice has forced a conversation the WNBA can no longer ignore.